if I could just bring you all back again, please. Thank you. So I'm just going to ask Councillor Gallagher now to speak to the amendments. Or sorry, Councillor Harkin. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Paula and others, for figuring that out in terms of the our internet situation. I've already spoken to two parts of the amendment in terms of council officers providing us with some sort of estimate and analysis about costings for the takeover of the square. And then I think that from the get-go, we have to be saying to the Executive Office, we want funding for this, because there's a lot of issues, as we know, where they will happily give us something, and then a year later there's no funding, and our rates go up, and we do have the highest rates of all councils in the north. And then the third one, look, I followed some of a lot of the discussion, but from the hotel owners themselves, they seem to be saying now they've never had an issue with having events in the square, and they haven't had an issue with having raves. And if that's the case, well, they really shouldn't have received this £150,000 in compensation that outraged people across our district, where people are struggling, and a hotel that received, it looks like, somewhere in the region of £10 million in public funding to build a hotel, then received £150,000 in compensation. And I would describe their opposition to electronic music as being a prejudice, particularly directed at young people. So if they are saying, as their statement sent to us this morning or yesterday says, that they've learned lessons, that they wish that they had have acted differently, I think that we should ask them to give the £150,000 that they received, which they really don't need, to our hardship fund, and also to hard-working organisations in our district that are dealing with addiction and mental health issues. I think that would be, if they're trying to rebuild some public trust, as they should be, that might be a start for them to actually consider. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'm going to bring in Councillor Jackson now.
Graham, good Mayor, and I suppose we can understand and agree with the sentiment of Councillor Harkin's amendment. We can see where he's going, but in relation to the proposal, the original amendment that we made, it was deliberately focused on the function of events. They look at the oversight and management of events, that function. Council weren't taking on responsibility. We weren't proposing that we take on responsibility for ownership at this stage. And in that term, in that sense, we weren't taking on any responsibility of the maintenance of Everington Square at this stage. We initially stated that we want to see the full transfer of Everington Square to council ownership as soon as practically possible. We completely understand that it's not practically possible at this minute in time for council to take on that ownership. But it's our ambition, and as we move through that process, costs and liabilities will come into play right throughout it, and even in terms of taking on the function of management and oversight of events. There will need to be resources coming from the TEO. We want to see that estimated cost come back to council through council papers. That happens with any notice of motion that comes to council. Is that there'll be a paper brought to a committee, and the financial implications of any decision by the committee will be clearly laid out. So the way this amendment is worded gives the impression the council are taking on responsibility for the maintenance of Everington Square. That's not something that we're proposing at this minute in time. We don't see how the amendment links with the original amendment. So the way it's worded at the minute, we won't be supporting the amendment that's in front of us. Swear.
Okay. Councillor Tierney.
Thank you, Mayor. I suppose when you look at it, you know, a lot of what is on the first and second paragraph has already been referenced. And I suppose the body of what is now being framed as an amendment to the committee proposal. We have no issue with making sure that we're aware of what it is we're taking on before we take it on. Whether that comes back through letters from Stormont bodies or comes back through papers through this council, we still have to make a decision on whether or not it's a viable option for council to take it on. And a paper at some point, or papers, will have to be provided to this council so that we can make an informed decision. The amendment, I don't really have much of an issue with in relation to finding out the cost and what the potential liability is, and then working out what our ask will be when we enter into those negotiations with the Executive Office. I do, and I am slightly concerned about the third paragraph, where it singles out the Ebrington Hotel. I would like to point out that the Ebrington Hotel is staffed by local people. I understand there's 90 jobs here, and I don't want to see any type of for want of a better word, Madam Mayor, a witch hunt against the hotel. The hotel isn't the only organisation which got and received compensation from the Executive Office over this scandal and fiasco. If the call in the last paragraph is to call on the hotel to donate that money to the bodies outlined, we don't have an issue with it. It's up to the hotel what they do with it. I'm not getting into the business whether the hotel need or don't need that money. I have no understanding, but I have heard a similar call being made by members of the public. I've seen it online. I have no issue supporting it at this point, but I want to point out that the decision around what the hotel owners do or don't do with that money lies solely with the hotel owners, and this council have no say in that at this point. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Gallagher.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'm coming on as a Strabane man here, right? But I've been in this council a right few years, and this site has got great potential, you know, for dairy and further afield with events that take place and the people who will attend those events and everything else that goes on that site. So I think that this council should be very supportive of how it has moved forward with the site and the potential for probably at some stage in the future a good revenue income come from the site. And I think that this council should acknowledge the statement that we have received. And in that statement, there's words like remorseful, deeply regretted, a lot of stuff that they may have made, if you want to call it schoolboy errors. There's a phrase of moving on to the site. And I think we need to acknowledge that and we need to accept it and move on. Some of the just the issues that we might have with the amendment is whoever has received compensation, the onus is not on them. I think the onus, and that's what this council should be asking. This council should be asking why the Executive Office used public money. How did they come to such a figure? Was there any reconciliation done of these events and these people who received compensation? Did they prove that there was a loss? Because I don't see that happened. The swiftness of this, I don't think that it happened. That they just issued out, what do you want to call it, quiet money? There's quiet money, move on, go away. But I don't think the onus should lie with any business that employs whatever 90 people that you would say to them, hand back 150,000. But it's why did the Executive Office give them 150,000? That's the question that we should be asking. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, there's no more comments on the amendments.
Mayor,
Sorry.
Alderman Kerrigan here. I'm on the chat box.
Okay, go ahead, Alderman Carrigan.
Mayor, thank you for allowing me in. Mayor, a lot of, to be fair, what Councillor Harkin has raised, I can see the benefit of it. And again, it's well, some could say common sense approach, but it is the case. We've got to get a detailed breakdown of costs, and we've got to get the detailed, we've got the finance in place before we would be seeking to take on such a site. And I have no issue with the first two paragraphs there in regards to it, and a lot of it's making sense. But as I say, the third paragraph, I do have difficulty at that stage because it's not, I would be minded in council's position to be really stating what a private firm should be doing with their monies, however they've received it. So on this stage here, I just don't feel that we can support the amendment as it stands. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Okay. Councillor Harkin, I'm sorry, but I just can't bring you in again on an amendment. So if there's nobody else wants to make a comment, there is a few dissenting voices on the decision whether we accept these amendments. So I'm going to take a vote. John?
Thank you, Mayor. On the amendment, Alderman Breslin,
Against.
Alderman Cook,
Against.
Alderman Hussey,
Against.
Alderman Carrigan.
Against, John.
Don't think Alderman McCready's online, is he? No. Alderman McMorris,
Against, John.
Alderman Middleton,
Against, John.
Councillor Jason Barr,
For.
Councillor Raymond Barr, Councillor Boggs,
Neil against.
Councillor Boyle, Councillor Cusick,
Or
Councillor Deany,
Neil against.
Councillor Devine,
Neil against.
Councillor Donnelly,
For.
Councillor Alex Duffy,
Neil against.
Councillor Sandra Duffy,
Neil?
Councillor Farrell,
For.
Councillor Fleming,
Neil.
Councillor Gallagher,
Abstain.
Councillor Harkin,
For.
Councillor Hart,
Neil against.
Councillor Heaney,
Neil.
Councillor Hutton,
Neil.
Councillor Jackson,
Neil.
Councillor Leonard,
Neil.
Councillor Logue,
Against?
Councillor McDade, Councillor McGinley,
Neil.
Councillor McGowan,
Neil.
Councillor McHugh,
Neil.
Councillor Mooney, Councillor Murphy,
Neil.
Councillor Norris,
For.
Councillor Farrell, Councillor Riley, Councillor Tierney,
For.
and Councillor Enidis.
Yeah.
Thank you, members.
Sorry, John. Aidan.
I've recorded you as that. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, Councillor, I did call your name, my mistake. I thought I did call your name. And I have recorded your vote, so
Okay.
my apologies.
Corona Hogan.
Recorded 24 against, 12 for, and 1 abstention. So the amendment does not pass.
Okay. I'm going to take us back now to the original motion. I didn't hear any dissenting voices on that, so we'll just take the motion as agreed. Yes. Thank you. Christopher, do you want to sum up? Do you get an amendment? No. No. Sorry, amendment again. Right. Aye. Right. Thank you. Okay, so taking us back to the matters arising again on the Assurance Audit and Risk Committee. I had Councillor Donnelly. Did you want to come on a different matter? Yeah.
Yeah, can I just come on there for a second before Councillor Donnelly speaks on me? I just want to declare an interest in this matter. I've dealt with this in the past, and I think on that basis I should recuse myself from any proposals. So thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you for giving me.
Thank you, Chair. The matter is AAR 57/23. It's the investigation. Just it's a matter of accuracy. I know we've passed the matter of accuracy, but it's my accuracy. During this meeting, I says, and this is just in order to prevent any confusion, which it's probably not. It's going to cause confusion. I mentioned that the agent was there along with the member of the public. It wasn't the agent, it was another representative. So I just want to clear that up in case down the line. However, the agent did attend the audit committee when this was discussed, and both the agent and the representative that was at that and the member of the public are here today. I have a proposal, but I also think just before I make the proposal, I want to just mention, I think it's important to emphasise a point made by Councillor Jackson, that there's absolutely no suggestion in any of this that any elected rep has done anything other than with the best intentions. So I think that was an important point made by Councillor Jackson, and I just want to emphasise that again. Chair, I have a proposal which I've also sent in to the committee, and it's effectively this council is asked to note the concerns raised at the Assurance Audit and Risk Committee on the 18th of September 2023 regarding the narrow scope of an investigation undertaken in line with this council's counter-fraud, whistleblowing, anti-fraud policy into planning matters raised by a member of the public. It is in the council's interest to ensure there is full confidence in the raising concerns process. Unfortunately, as the report acknowledges, the core concern raised by the member of the public during the investigation process was not examined because it was considered to be outside the scope of that investigation. Therefore, this council proposes that the investigators meet again with the member of the public and his representatives with a view to establishing if the investigation should be reopened to address the serious concerns about professional and ethical issues regarding this case. Furthermore, this council seeks assurance that when a serious matter is raised or uncovered during the investigation process, which may be outside the scope of the investigation, steps can be swiftly taken to ensure that the terms of reference are widened. Thank you.
Okay, have you a seconder, Councillor Donnelly? Okay, thank you. Any comments, members? Do you need a minute to consider that proposal, or are you okay? Anybody want to speak in the matter? No, Councillor Tierney.
Thank you. And not to delay things, but just to say that we've considered the proposal, Councillor Donnelly, and the attached paper, obviously, that's on the minutes, and the SDLP are happy to support the proposal that's on the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No one else? Right. Councillor Jackson.
Apologies, Mayor. I was still reading the proposal as we were moving on, but I suppose it was discussed at audit, and I suppose, see, for every function of council, we need to instill confidence, and planning is something I suppose that we all we're all on the same page in relation to ensuring that everybody that's involved in the process, whether it's the applicant, objectors, or any interested party, has confidence that the process is followed. And on that basis, if there's any lessons learned from any investigation, we would be keen to learn them. So on that basis, we're supportive of the motion. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. So I'll just take that as unanimous then. So that proposal passes. Okay. Thank you. Are there any other matters arising from the audit assurance and risk meeting? No. Well, then we will move on.
We need the confidential.
Right, I'm just going to go on to the confidential minutes of the Derry City Instrument District Council